ships at sea. It's time for the Friday Funnies. Just a little bit different opening. Hey kids, it's the 23rd of January 2009, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but apparently we had a presidential inauguration this week. From what I understand, there was a parade, there was some fancy balls. Coverage of it, though, was rather sporadic. It was only featured on 400 television stations. I just hope that somebody's going to make souvenirs of this historic event so that we can buy them, thus stimulating the economy. Personally, I am holding out for the Barack Obama signature bowling ball. But while the celebration winds down, reality sets in, and it looks like we're going to have a new Secretary of the Treasury who has not paid his income tax for the last 4 years. This, my friends, is change I can believe in. It's also an example I would be happy to follow. So before I travel off to the Cayman Islands to open up an offshore account, let me give you the rest of this week's stories in the Friday Funnies. First one takes us to Amsterdam, New York, upstate New York, where a fellow walked into his local Price Chopper store and bought himself a lobster. Then he took that lobster home, cooked it, and ate it. He then reassembled the lobster shell, glued them all back together, and took it back to the store, claiming this lobster is spoiled. I'll just have some crab legs instead. And the guy left the store with the crab legs. It was then that the store manager realized that the returned lobster was merely a shell of its former self. So he called the police. The police found this guy in his house eating crab legs. He was taken to the station for crustacean incarceration. Thank you very much. I am very, very proud of that one. All right, second story in Boynton Beach, Florida. A 77-year-old female driver ran into a guy on a scooter and kept on going. Apparently, she was late for her hair appointment, and she didn't think that the guy she hit was injured that badly, even though he bounced off of her windshield. Police followed her to the salon where she was going for her monthly re-bluing, and they charged her with leaving the scene of an accident and leaving the victim to die. This is much funnier in a printed version, die, D-Y-E. See, D-Y-E, leaving him to die. Let me just remind you folks, these are coming to you for free. All right, let's say you have a Canadian, you add beer, what do you get? Well, this week you get Superman. Up in Edmonton, Alberta, a guy was drinking in the bar at the York Hotel when he got into an altercation, a fight, if you will, that went outside. So when he went outside, he was promptly stabbed in the chest. Ouch. Well, this guy came back into the bar and continued drinking his beer. He even had a few more drinks after that until he realized he was just wasting beer because it was all leaking out of the hole in his chest. Finally, I'm sorry, this is the first time I'm hearing these stories too, so they kind of make me giggle. Finally, let's go to Canada. No, let's not go to Canada. Let's go a little bit south of there to Wisconsin, specifically Cedar Grove, Wisconsin, where a 21-year-old this week called the police to report that A, he was drunk, B, he had stolen his uncle's car, and C, he had just crashed said car into a tree. This inebriated idiot, who it turns out didn't even have a driver's license, was drinking at his uncle's house and he ran out of cigarettes. His uncle was asleep, so he simply took his uncle's car to go down to the store, but about a mile away, he crashed the car and rolled it over. Now, I don't mean to moralize, but let me just point out one more time the dangers of smoking. If this man hadn't needed cigarettes, none of this would have happened. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. One suggestion for the president, I say make Oprah the Secretary of the Treasury. She's already got more money than the country anyhow. I'll see you guys next week.